Welcome back, my loves. This is the story behind the story. I'm Sierra Melcher of Red Thread Publishing. We are doing a special series on feisty authors, and I'm joined today by one of the contributors of our most recent book, Feisty, Tobi Medes.
Yeah.
Welcome, my love. Thanks for joining us. I'm looking forward to talking to you about your chapter and the whole process.
Very good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this and making all of us published authors.
It is absolutely my pleasure and my honor. So all of these conversations are really just sort of in the moment. What prompted you to step into this project and write a chapter? Because I know you have something else on your plate. So tell us a little bit about
you know, it's funny. Someone asked me the other day, how did you get involved with, how did you get this opportunity? And I, for the life of me, think as soon as this opportunity came my way, I don't know. I don't remember how it all unfolded and came to me, but I knew when it did, I had to act. And, you know, I had to act because I've dreamt of being an author since my obsession with Laura Ingalls Wilder as a kid. My whole life, you know, struggling with the story of my life and accepting it. And I started to write my own memoir, or a story memoir. And next thing I know, I'm 27 chapters in, and then I get this opportunity for Feisty. I'm like, gosh, am I feisty? Or, you know, I had some other labels for it, you know, in my own head. And I'm like, I need to look into this. And so I just sat quietly for probably a week on the topic and sort of waited to find my connection. And it's an internal thing. I can't explain it. But then when I knew I had that, then I wrote my words and I released it.
I love so much of what you just said. I love doing these podcasts and having another opportunity to talk with the authors because there's so much in this process, the creation process, the sort of the self-discovery when we sit down to write, whether it's a memoir or not. There's always something. More often than not, the women who come to work with us, there's cosmic, right? There's no like SEO backtrack. This is like the universe having her way with us and just being like, this is going to happen. And I love hearing all of the sort of, how did you get here? And people are like, it just happened. And I don't know, like,
right.
It doesn't matter. I got here and this is what I did when I was there. For those of you who don't know what a collaborative author book is, a collaborative author book is, as it sounds, we get multiple authors. They each write a chapter on a theme or a topic, so we all sort of fit together. But again, we don't micromanage that, right? We don't say, okay, so you're going to talk about this and we're going to talk about that. It's not contrived. It really is, here's the container. Go wild, do your thing, speak your truth. And then we as the publishers, I mean, we're supporting the writing process and that process in the community, but also the editing, the formatting, all the back end stuff that makes a book possible, and support women like yourself to really move from that I've always wanted to I just did.
Oh my gosh.
So that, right? Oh,
yeah.
It was about a week ago. And whether you have another book in you or not, this is that catapult that like gets you there. And for you, especially people like you who have a manuscript in you, who have another book or 7, getting to do the process with other people, learning a lot about some of the back end stuff so that the next time you do it, like, well, I need to do this and I need to do it this way. It really is this sort of foundational process of doing a collaborative author book. I think I've done like 7 or 8 at this point.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean,
yeah.
it like, I can't even begin to list everything that I gained in this experience, the connections, the know-how. And I mean, I've been just digging in the dirt for the last year, writing my own stuff, and then not having any idea where I go with it when I'm done. And it's like, so now I'm already there with this group. So, I mean,
I love to hear that.
it was great.
So glad.
Yeah.
I really want to ask you to share about your experience after you figured out what your chapter was about, after you wrote it, after you submitted, and the publishing company's doing all the stuff around, and then this like impending publish date starts creeping up. It's that thing that we think we should be looking forward to, think we should be so excited about, and then when it's right around the corner, I'm asking you to share because I think your experience, although yours was really personal, is also really universal. That when we get close to publishing, there is very often some sort of
freak out,
vulnerability. Yeah, freak
full
out.
on freak out.
So talk to us without even like, share a bit about that experience, so that, because this podcast is for aspiring authors, soon to be authors, and I think when we know what's coming, we relate to it differently. So it doesn't even matter the details. You share with us whatever you're comfortable with sharing, but talk to us about your pre-publishing experience.
Well, I wrote it. I knew what I was doing. When I made that connection, I got it out. Words and stories come easy once I find that internal connection. So I wrote it. I gave it to the team. They made some edits, and I didn't read it again. I like hands off the wheel. And so I'm like super pumped and, promoting my book, sharing with friends and family and, all the different platforms. And then I purchased my first copy, and I start to read it, and I'm like, oh my God, I've just completely, revealed things like why, and started to question, why did I feel like that's necessary? I went back to square one in so many different ways. And, I started to have this freak out, like I wanted to control or tend to how others receive it. And, and I have gone on a 30-day social media hiatus, from my personal page. I'm still connected to my groups. I mean, it's a strategy that I've had to do to self-preserve, because of the fears and the worries and the freak out. And I know that with time, that will get easier. I'm not changing what I wrote or my story or my experiences. What I have to kind of work on is that, again, like in my chapter, owning it and really releasing it. And, once I tell my story, I'm taking away the power of anyone else being able to use it as a weapon. And that's been kind of a theme in my life. And, when my story is not intended to hurt anyone or, it's just a story. And, it helps me understand myself and my journey and my choices. And so I did have the freak out, but man, I mean, I am like a published author now. So why is that not bigger than, this sentence or that word or, so It's,
Or
you know, like,
your fears of your expectation of someone's reaction, right?
right.
Which is like a 3-part thing
Yeah.
that may or may not even happen, but it becomes
Right. I
this
have
like,
no
oh
idea. Yeah.
God, you just like get bowled
I
over by
know.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so I really just want to make sure that everybody gets this point, that whether you bear it all or even don't,
Mm-hmm.
when we create something and when we put it out to be seen in the world, we don't put it out to be judged and weighed and measured. But people do that, right?
Right.
And our own natural reaction is self-preservation and
Mm-hmm.
protective, and we're aware of, especially you'd shared this in our weekly writers circle last week, um, especially when we have years of practice being a way that we think we're supposed to make others comfortable,
Mm-hmm. Right.
that anytime that we really show up and speak our truth and be feisty, there is an internal kickback of like, oh, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
And my first book didn't I don't think didn't reveal anything
Yeah.
deeply personal that I was super sensitive about, but I was nervous as shit to put that out just
Yeah.
because it was a reflection of me, and what if people don't like it and they don't like me, and like it just went downhill from there.
Right.
We always talk, we're an all-female publishing company, we always talk about the metaphor of a book like a baby, and that you're giving birth, and we
Mm-hmm.
all just became book mamas, right,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
publishing of this book. And the example of giving birth is quite apt, because very often a woman will be in labor and it's hard and it hurts and there's this and there's that, and then she gets to a point and she's like, nope, no, I'm not doing this, no, I'm not going to be a parent, I am
Mm-hmm.
7 centimeters dilated, but I am over it, I am done, we
Right.
are not doing this, I don't think I
Yes.
can, I quit, right? And um, in a birthing room, that means this is about to happen. The moment she gives up, it means she's close. And I love to share that because, like you, so many soon to be authors have some kind of, nope, I take it back. Can you pull my chapter? Let's cancel the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing. I'm going to change my name and move to a different country where they don't have
Right.
internet. Like
Yes.
whatever the thing is, right?
It's
Um,
and it's funny
and
because I read the other
yeah,
authors and I read their stories and I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful that they've shared this with the world. But given myself that platform, I mean, I think it's just a universal struggle, uh, but specific to my situation,
yeah. Which is again why another author in the community finished her book, and she just posted and she said, I finished my book. I thought I was going to be excited, right? She finished
Yeah.
her manuscript, and then she said, and I was so surprised to feel like, what if there is no value in anything I've just created?
Right.
And this is why I love being a publisher. I especially love these collaborative books, because we can see others
Mm-hmm.
as they are, but we can
Yep.
never see ourselves. And so it's really helpful to be surrounded
Yeah.
by 15 people who can see and reflect back to us who we are,
Agree.
the value of what we're doing. And so in those moments of doubt, which we all have, no matter how many books you write, or, I think the more famous you get, the scarier it gets.
Oh, I'm sure.
More
Yeah.
people who will read it and review it and talk about you. And,
Mm-hmm.
we think, wouldn't it be great if we were just all famous? And I was like, yeah, wait till you get there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it then. But that you get this sort of room, this virtual room full of women who can message you and say, wow, I just read your chapter. It was amazing. I'm so grateful that you wrote it. Like, when you specifically get that feedback from someone, it doesn't make your freak out go away necessarily, but it tempers it. A week after the fact, how are you feeling? Freak out gone?
You know what? I mean, I'm sticking with my hiatus. And it's funny, I track on my iPhone, like my social media usage is down 68%. Well, that's probably not, great for my, sharing my book and everything,
it's
that's
not the standard book marketing strategy.
right. It's not. However, it has helped me kind of, it's definitely helped me do the things and focus and feel the experience. Now, is it going to make a difference in 1 week or 10 days? I'm in a better place now. And I think that more comfortable to share and to celebrate and just, so, better, definitely better.
Yeah. Well, and feisty, I mean, that's the title of our book. Feisty is not about doing it the way you're supposed to,
Right.
whatever the hell that is, right?
I know.
Like, no, I'm going to do it the way that I need to do it because that's what needs to happen. And it's a collaborative author book. So there's 18 other women who are promoting the book.
Exactly.
And it's out there. It's still doing great. And you'll share when you're ready.
I'll hop back on that. I'm gonna
of course
back on that
and
circuit.
it'll probably be great as soon as everybody else is like tired of the whole first month the book marketing push. You're going to come right in and like take the reins and run with it.
Yep.
So it's perfect. These again are really short conversations, but I think the two things that we focused on are really powerful about sort of the synchronicities and doing a collaborative project that supports you as a creator to do a bigger project on your own, and then recognizing that it can be totally terrifying. So I just wanted to thank you for joining us, for finding us, however the universe put us together, and then especially for sharing the ins and outs, because it's so important for newer and aspiring authors to know that they're not alone in this. Oh shit, I am doing something new. Right. And it feels big. And if you're not freaking out, you're probably not doing it right. I mean, not
exactly.
So every time I'm in the middle of a freak out, I try to remind myself that. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so happy. I appreciate it.
As always, we are here week after week interviewing another female author, talking about writing, publishing, book marketing, getting out in the world, changing the world, using our voices, and making a flipping difference. Thank you so much. Sierra from Red Thread Publishing signing off, and I'll see you again soon.